It's 8:30 a.m. I call this meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Posey,
Here.
Mr. Morris. Here. Mr. Culp.
Here.
Chief Stiegelmeier, you have the reading of casualties.
The following list is of first responder casualties for the period of July the 19th through August the 3rd of 2022. Police Officer Daniel Vasquez, North Kansas City Police Department, Missouri. End of watch July 19th, 2022. Sergeant Christopher James Nelson, the Edmond Police Department in Oklahoma. End of watch July 19th, 2022. Police Officer Anthony Mazurkowicz, Rochester Police Department, New York. End of watch July 21st, 2022. Deputy Sheriff Matthew Yates, Clark County Sheriff's Office, Ohio. End of watch July 24th, 2022. Deputy Sheriff Lorenzo Bustos, Smith County Sheriff's Office, Texas. End of watch July 29th, 2022. Mounted Deputy Nicole Schuff, the Clare County Sheriff's Department, Michigan. End of watch July 29th, 2022. Deputy Sheriff Jamie Reynolds, Spalding County Sheriff's Office, Georgia. End of watch July 31st, 2022. And Police Officer Noah Shanavaz, Elwood Police Department, Indiana. End of watch July 31st, 2022.
Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is recognition of guests and presentations. We have none today. The following item is the consent agenda. Matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote of consent. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. I move that we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris. Aye. Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is new business. I have the first item, resolution number 61-2022, a resolution to appoint a township administrator. Our previous township administrator, Mr. Hess, retired as effective as of August 1st, 2022, and it is, I believe, this board's pleasure to bring forth a resolution to appoint Christopher Snyder as the township administrator. Some of you may recall we discussed the need for longevity planning and succession planning when the assistant township administrator position was created, and Mr. Snyder has fulfilled that role excellently over the past year. I will take any questions the rest of the board may have regarding this resolution. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, the motion for a liquor permit for Big Chicken Restaurant Group LLC at 10655 Innovation Drive. Chief Stiegelmeier.
Good morning, Board. In your package, you received my information regarding this permit request. This request is from the CRC Restaurant Group LLC, doing business as Big Chicken. This is going to be on Innovation Drive in the Austin Landing development. This is the chicken facility associated with Shaquille O'Neal that we're all excited about coming. This is a new permit, and it's a D5J, which just puts it in the door at the entertainment district. And we have no reason to oppose this, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Next item on the agenda is also you, Chief Stiegelmeier, resolution number 62-2022, a resolution authorizing agreements for reimbursement of police equipment and hiring expenses.
Board, in your package, again, what I've given you is an employment agreement to reimburse costs incurred during the background hiring and initial onboarding with new officer hires. This agreement is not a new thing amongst police agencies. In fact, it's becoming quite the standard in agencies, not just through the Miami Valley, but also across the state. This is where I actually obtained the idea through the OACP convention we had earlier this year. And what this basically is the police department incurs a rather large expense when we hire a new officer. And what that entails is during their background process, we have to pay for a physical. We have to pay for a psychological exam, as well as outfitting them in their uniforms and other items in order to get them up to becoming a police officer for the township. That's around a $5,000 or $6,000 incurrence per officer per time. In the current state of affairs, through law enforcement countrywide, there's a growing trend for officers to start with an agency and then go on to a different agency for more opportunities, more money, various other reasons. What ends up happening is police departments have this initial investment, and within a short period of time, these people move on, and we're left again having to reoccur this expense. Here at Miami Township, in the last 2 years, we have had that happen to us 8 different times, to the tune of about $45,000 to $50,000. As you can tell, that adds up very quickly in my budget. What I'm asking for the trustees to approve here is a resolution to me going into an agreement with a new hire. And what that basically says is, once we hire you, we incur this cost. You will remain with the township for 2 full calendar years, and if you do so, then life is good. If you leave prior to 2 calendar years, you're going to reimburse us for all or a portion thereof of those costs that I incurred. And in your packet is the agreement, and it tells you within day 1 to the 12th month of the calendar year, you will reimburse me whole 100%. From month 13 through month 24, it'll be a 50% reimbursement. These agreements have been looked at both by our law director and also through our labor attorney, Joe Schaller, at which both of the attorneys helped us draft these proposals. And again, these are pretty standardized and being accepted throughout the police community. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief. The next resolution is Mr. Schweiker. You have resolution number 63-2022, a resolution to approve an amended appropriation of road and bridge funds for 2022.
Good morning, Board. In your packet, we budgeted $51,000 for the 2022 fiscal year, and there was some room for inflation in there. What we did not anticipate was the fuel prices doubling throughout this year. So we have met our budget in July, and we're asking for an appropriation to finish out the rest of the year with fuel, purchasing fuel. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on that resolution.
Any questions on that resolution? You have the next resolution, 64-2022, resolution to authorize a property use agreement with Milcon Concrete, Inc. for Austin Boulevard sewage construction.
Yes, good morning again, Board. Montgomery County Environmental Services and Milcon Concrete have entered into agreement to replace the faulty sewage line along Austin Boulevard. Milcon came to us and asked, we have a small property just outside of an easement that we already agreed to, basically to store pipes during this construction phase. We see no reason to oppose that. It basically helps them complete the project faster, and it is a benefit to our residents down along Miami Village. And I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding that agreement.
I believe we've seen something similar along these lines before, but appreciate it being brought forward. Any questions? Resolution number 65-2022, a resolution to authorize a cooperative agreement with the Board of County Commissioners of Montgomery County, Ohio for Jasmine Drive water main replacement. Mr. Schweikert.
Board, in your packets, it outlined that Montgomery County Environmental Services approached Miami Township down along Jasmine and Daffodil and Dahlia Drive in our flower plat close to West Carrollton High School. The water mains were installed behind the houses, and what they want to do is relocate the water mains to the right-of-way, and what they've asked is for us to cooperate and join in their grant. So what would happen is after construction, the grant money in this project would allow us to repave all 3 streets with no cost to Miami Township. I would love to answer any questions regarding that agreement as well.
So the resolution is to enter into a request for a grant, or this grant has already been achieved and this is going to happen if we pass this resolution?
They're going for a grant at the end of the month, and they're very energetic that they have the points to allow them to receive the grant. And this is our agreement to be able to get into the grant when it comes available.
So should the grant not be awarded, let's hope that doesn't happen, the project doesn't happen?
We still have anticipated to repave these streets in 5 to 8 years. So if they still.
But I mean the movement of the water mains will be moved regardless?
That is what we have from the Montgomery County Environmental Services, that they still want to do it because of the amount of breaks that happen behind the houses, and it's just unfeasible to continue to go behind properties and replace that.
Any other questions? The last item of new business is resolution number 66-2022, a resolution for the purchase of rock salt for the 2022-2023 winter season. Mr. Schweikert.
Board, this last item is annual. 93 area governments participated in a bid for our SWAP 4G program to buy rock salt for the upcoming winter weather season. The low bid from American Rock Salt was $83.61. That's a little bit higher than last year, but it's still not the highest we've ever seen. So we want to enter into a one-year agreement and then go back out for bid the following year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding that agreement as well.
Any questions? All right, we're now entering the public comment period. This is the portion of the meeting where you, the residents of Miami Township, are invited to share your thoughts with the board. Please know that this time has been set aside for the board to listen to you. Your comments are valued and will be taken into careful consideration. The board will not engage in dialogue at this time, and presentations are limited to 5 minutes each. Would anyone like to come forward?
Good morning. My name is Matthew Turton. I live at 6600 Jamaica Road, and I stand before you again, as I did 2 weeks ago, to bring light on the subject of the Stony Hill Winery and Event Center, who had another wedding, even though they're enjoined at this time, last Saturday. Just so you understand that the events are not just a snapshot of a 45-minute or an hour or 2 hours of a wedding. Setup takes place on Fridays. The wedding itself is usually most of the day on Saturday. And then the teardown or cleanup prior to the individuals who are apparently not renting the facility but are gaining access to the facility, then clean up the facility until about noon on Sundays. So an event is not just a 2-hour situation. It is usually at least a 2-day interruption of our privacy. Now, I say our privacy because it's my house. Let's be clear. It's my house that is being interrupted. It's not 47 facilities. It's not 29 or 30 or the public at large who are affected by this. I am the only individual who is weekly interrupted. My privacy, my right to quality life. The other farmers around me, Mr. Cooper has passed. Alice Cooper and Jim Cooper, they've passed. There's nobody in that house. There's 22 acres contiguous to the west that is just farmland. There is a 44-acre lot to the east that is so blocked by the fence row, if you would, honeysuckle and scrub trees, that they're not really affected, although they have been interrupted and they have spoke at one time in this facility, the Sizemores. But I'm the one who gets the brunt of this every single weekend. I want to bring to light, not worried about the fire, the lack of safety for the people who are there. Not worried about that. That's maybe the fire chief's responsibility. I'm not worried about, what I'm worried about is the amount of urine that every weekend goes into my water tables. If there are, say it's an average wedding of 100 people, and they're drinking, or they're just socializing, I would say that the average person would go to the restroom at least once in a couple hours. If they're there all day, or if they're there for more than just 2 hours, they may go to the restroom twice. Say there's 100 people. That's 200 urinations in a septic system that is codified for a residence. So that overflow goes into our water table and down into my water table where I have a well. Please ponder that. That's needs to be addressed, please, by the township, or maybe with the county. I don't know who's responsible for, well, I know the county's responsible for sewers, and they're the people who set the rules for how large of a septic system has to be for the number of flushes it might take inside of a house. Again, the fireworks happened the 16th. There were no fireworks at the last one, just a interruption, volume, interruption of lights, interruptions of 3 days of my life since I spoke to you last from the facility, affecting one home, mine. I will be here every week. You will be tired of me. I apologize for my persistency. I am hoping, praying that something can happen with this injunction, because I think by definition an injunction is a closure. I believe, regardless of appeal. And then something can go on with the state or the appellate court, whatever situation the owner of the event center is in, with the county and with the state, with you guys, will be upheld or whatever it is, so it's stopped. It is continuing. I'll be here in 2 weeks.
Thank you. You've used your time. I appreciate it. And just by way of update, and for those listening at home, the township does and did litigate to an injunction against the operation of this facility. And as you're reporting, it's continued. The township did move for contempt. A hearing was held on that. We're waiting a decision on the judge. I'm not sure if you're aware, or for those at home, the county itself, through its chief building inspector, has filed a complaint for injunctive relief, declaring the property a public nuisance for a variety of reasons along those described here today. So this is not from an act of, this isn't moving forward. We understand your perspective on this with these events continuing, but we are waiting for the courts to address this issue. They are the ones with the power to order something actually to reduce the harm you're suffering. So thank you for coming in today, and again, keep coming and letting us know so that we can make sure this is being pursued as diligently as possible. Any other for the public hearing? Public comments. We'll move to consideration of resolutions and motions. I will make a motion that we adopt resolution number 61-2022, a resolution to appoint a township administrator. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion?
I would like to welcome Mr. Snyder and congratulate him on his promotion to the administration position, his long-standing record of serving this township. It's a well-deserved promotion, and I'm looking forward to working with him.
I echo Mr. Morris's comments. Anything else?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for liquor permit for Big Chicken Restaurant Group LLC at 10655 Innovation Drive.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution number 62-2022, a resolution authorizing agreements for reimbursement of police equipment and hiring expenses. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to commend the chief on taking this action. Clearly, have a lot of, we can call them job hoppers, but people are raiding other departments and finding others, and anything we can do to recover some of the our township's costs is well done. Thank you.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 63-2022, a resolution to approve an amended appropriation of road and bridge funds for 2022.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 64-2022, a resolution to authorize a property use agreement with Milcon Concrete, Inc. for Austin Boulevard sewage construction. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 65-2022, a resolution to authorize a cooperative agreement with the Board of County Commissioners of Montgomery County, Ohio for Jasmine Drive water main replacement.
I will second that motion. Second that motion. Any discussion?
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 66-2022, a resolution for the purchase of rock salt for the 2022-2023 winter season. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
We have no public hearing. Department head comments. Mr. Schweikert.
I just want to thank Chief Stegenmeyer for having Public Works out, National Night Out. You guys put on a fantastic evening, event, and it was nice that we were able to participate and just be out in public and talk to our residents.
Chief Stiegelmeier.
Well, you beat me to the punch, but I'll like to say it was a great event both Saturday and last night. I like to thank Mr. Morris for being a trooper and taking the first dunk tank. Sorry, it's the first one to put you in, but that happened.
As I recall, you missed every time you threw at the target.
Missing first three. And I thank Jill Brewery. She did an outstanding job not only with the event and passing out on behalf of the township, but she was very instrumental behind the scenes to helping us get that off the ground. So thank you, Jill. And John, again, thank your people. The road department put 2 people in the dunk tank for us, so they were very intricate involved, and it was a great event. So I just want to thank everybody. Mr. Snyder, thank you for coming out last night. It was a good event all the way around. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. McCord, any report?
None at this time, thank you.
Mr. Snyder, as your first act as Township Administrator.
Thank you. Good morning, Board. I do have a couple of comments. First, did want to again pass along my thanks to the Police Department for putting on a couple of great events, both this last weekend and last night. Also thank all of the residents that helped obviously organize the individual parties last night and those that came out from the neighborhoods and participated. We certainly appreciate that. Wanted to thank, again, Public Works and the Miami Valley Fire District for providing all the equipment and crews that were out last night as well. I know a lot of the kids really enjoyed being able to see all of the equipment. So with that, I did just want to read a quick statement regarding the promotion to this position. I did want to thank the board for this opportunity. I appreciate the confidence they have expressed in offering this position. I would also like to thank the previous administrator, Ron Hess, for his support and service to the community. We have a tremendous group of hardworking employees that have faced numerous challenges these last few years, but day in and day out, they are getting the work of township government done for our residents, employers, and visitors. I know there is more work to be done, exciting opportunities ahead, and that we can continue to improve our community and the services that we offer. I look forward to working with all of the employees of Miami Township to continue serving the residents, businesses, and visitors of Miami Township. I also look forward to working with the respective school boards, the City of Miamisburg, and many neighboring communities, Montgomery County, and other regional and state partners as we face the challenges and opportunities ahead. Most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Julie, my son and daughter, my mother, and other family members for their support through the years. I love you all and thank you all for all that you have done to help me pursue my goals. So again, thank you, Board, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Moving into elected officials' comments. Mr. Newell.
I have none.
Mr. Culp.
I have none.
Mr. Morris.
I have none.
I just have 2. Again, I'd like to thank the chief and everybody involved with the National Night Out. I know this is a big effort, but the community really gets something out of it, and I do think it's an opportunity to show who we are as a township back in the community. And again, we'd like to thank Joe Drury, who does a nice job of posting all these events to Facebook and other social media outlets to make sure those who cannot attend have a sense of what's going on in the community. Our previous township administrator, Mr. Hess, wanted to go out very quietly. He did not want to be recognized, but I would say that coming onto the board as trustee, he is an administrator of some repute, having gone through a weird career path from police to co-police chief and township administrator to just township administrator. I think he did an excellent job in that and an excellent job in supporting the promotion here to Mr. Snyder, who I'm very excited to have in this role. As I mentioned during the discussion, he brings a wealth of experience in the community, and it's great to see somebody that has the tenure that he has here be in this seat and be able to continue his efforts on behalf of the residents and businesses in Miami Township. With that, I will close the meeting at 8:56 today. Thank you.